Good morning. Hope you're having an awesome day today. If you are watching me live, do me a favor and give me a 1 in the comment. And if you're watching this on a replay, give me a 3 in the comment. Today we're going to talk about negative thinking. Oh boy, we're all prone to that, all prone to negative thinking. I'm going to share with you some strategies because I am not a foreigner to negative thinking. Everything from, as you may or may not know, my father being murdered, my wife and I having a baby, then she tells me it's not mine. Literally like 10 miles from here, my uncle was killed in a plane crash. I mean, I could go on and on and on. So I'm going to share with you some strategies on how to instantly stop negative thinking and how you say certain things that you're actually saying that makes things worse, and it's causing you to program your negative thinking and just make it bigger and bigger and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. All right, so we want to get rid of that. Bear with me a second as I am going online real quickly so I can make sure that I am online and live. You know how that goes. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's jump on over to the whiteboard here, and let's talk about some of this negative thinking stuff. Let me make sure that's good there. All right, so you'll hear me say this often. It's very, very, very powerful. Your brain will validate all of your beliefs, whether they are right or wrong. Let me repeat that. Your brain will validate all of your beliefs, whether they are right or wrong. So what do I mean by that? If you have a belief that you buy into, whether it's right or wrong, your brain is going to say, okay, yep, that's right. That's why it's this way. So let me give you an example. When people have certain thoughts that they'll use, it forces the brain and causes the brain to validate a belief that's really not true. Here's how this works. I'll give you an example. I know of a lady, and we'll just, well, I'm using so much of these markers that they're just running out. All right, we'll have this lady here. We'll give her a skirt. Is that how you would do a skirt? Maybe, I don't know. Okay, so recently, unfortunately, her husband passed. So her husband's dead, and typically when somebody goes through some major trauma in their life, the first year is the worst, especially when it comes to a loss of a loved one. For example, we've got Christmas coming up. Well, this person has not had 1 year, a year has not gone by since she has lost her husband. So that means every birthday, every holiday, every single day, if we're not careful, she will give power to that day. So Christmas is coming. She's going to be by herself. She's going to give power to that day if she's not careful. Because typically, you know, holidays and birthdays and anniversaries, they're memorable days, and that causes and gives us the opportunity, unfortunately, to create more negativity, more depression, more negative feelings. So let's use that statement that I shared with you earlier. The brain will validate all of your beliefs, whether they are right or wrong. So now she experiences a negative emotion, all right? So big negative emotion here, and that negative emotion is the death of a loved one. So very, very negative. We put a negative sign here. So here's what happens. You've probably said this before, and this makes your negative programming worse. If it ain't one thing, it's, type it in the chat, another. If it ain't one thing, it's a what? It's another. Type in the word another in the chat or in the comment. So here's what happens. The moment you say, if it ain't one thing, it's another, you'll typically have a tendency to say that when something negative has happened. The moment you say, if it ain't one thing, it's another, your brain will now validate, because your brain cannot tell the difference, right? Your brain will validate all of your beliefs, whether they are right or wrong. So whether this is right or wrong, the next time she has another little negative thing, like for example, she cut her finger, the battery went bad on her car, so she's now going to validate, if it ain't one thing, it's another. See, all bad things happen to me. So now her brain is validating that because she's focused on this major, and which is totally understandable, she's focused on this major emotion and major feeling. So now any little thing that happens that has a slight tint of negativity, take a guess what she's going to do. Her brain is going to validate. Why? Because she's making it bigger than it is because of this incredible negative emotion. Your brain will validate all of your beliefs, whether it's right or wrong. So if she does not interrupt this, How would she interrupt it? We'll talk about it in a moment. If she does not interrupt this pattern or this process from here on out for the next year or more, anytime something happens, a traffic ticket, she gets an offender bender, or she's at the grocery store and she's picking up a bunch of things and she drops them by accident. Nothing good happens to me. Why? Because your brain is validating all of your beliefs, whether they are right or wrong. So how do we stop and interrupt it? We have to understand that if we know that our brain will validate all of our beliefs, whether they are right or wrong, you must instantly be able to identify when you are subconsciously trying to validate something. So in her mind, what she has to do, so let's say she or you now understand, your brain will validate all of your beliefs. How many of your beliefs? Put it in the comment. A-L-L, all. Your brain will validate all of your beliefs, whether they are right or wrong. So the moment now she has something negative, let's just put in quotes here, negative. Something negative happens. The moment she feels negative or the negative emotion from it, she has to consciously be aware that she's going to say, see, nothing ever good happens to me. Boom. The moment she says that, she has to stop and say, wait a minute. What I'm actually doing is I'm validating that nothing ever good happens to me because I feel that there's so many negative things that have happened to me recently. The moment she can be consciously aware of that, then and only then will she be able to stop this pattern of everything that happens to me never seems to go my way. I will assure you, this works when you know how to do it. Why? Because when I went through all these things, here's my problem. I still have this challenge. I have to be really careful to stop it right away. My biggest challenge is because I have all these negative things in my past stacked up, right? My father being murdered. Wife tells me baby's not mine. Left a cult. My so-called friends and family shunned me for life. My uncle was killed in a plane crash. Grandfather and stepfather died of cancer. Lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. So what happens now, the next time, if I'm not careful, the next time something happens to me that in my mind, I conceive it as negative, I will immediately get a flashback and stack all those negative emotions right here, and then I'll validate, see, nothing ever good can happen to me. And I will assure you that this thing right here that happened to me, that I perceive as negative, or this thing that happened to her that she perceives as negative, I'll guarantee you these things have happened to me or you years ago, and we never thought anything negative of it. It's because of our perception, and then our perception gets worse when our brain validates the beliefs, whether they are what? Right or wrong. I don't know if you realize how powerful that is. Let me switch cameras. I don't know if you realize how powerful that is, but let me tell you, if you can understand that, it will change your life forever. The moment I realized that my brain will validate all of my beliefs, whether they are right or wrong, I was able to instantly start becoming, I guess, more aware of what I'm saying to myself and what my focus is. You can't just, when people say, whatever you focus on becomes your reality. Great, well, how do you change the focus? You can't just look at something that's blue and then, okay, I'm going to focus, it's pink. It takes more than that. This is how you change the focus. You have to understand what your brain is doing. And if you don't understand your brain is validating all of your beliefs, whether they are right or wrong, you're going to keep doing it all the time subconsciously. Sometimes it validates good things that are right, but it also validates bad things that are wrong. And if you're not able to identify them, but because you get caught up into the negative emotion, you're not going to be able to stop consciously and be able to identify subconsciously what is happening. All right? So hope this works for you. Hope you've enjoyed this today. This is the stuff that I love so much. And that's pretty much it. I'm out of it today. Let's see, what is today? Today's Friday, weekend coming. Going to head to the airport in just a little bit. Got to head out for a little, and then I will be doing some more videos. We're going to be doing a lot of videos coming up, especially around New Year's. Be very careful not to get caught up into the New Year's resolution feelings. I don't mind you making goals, but not just because it's New Year's. Try to make your goals and focus on them every day. I'm out of here. Between now and the next time we get to chat, you know what to do. And if you don't, you will now. Don't let others rent space in your head. We'll see you.